Lions 66, he says XPay live in June. No date set yet. XRP used. Well, they are using Cross River Bank. Cross River Bank also backs Uphold. And there's a lot of hearsay that they are going to be utilizing XRP to settle. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not. You know, they bought and got and applied for a lot of the money transmitter licenses required in order to be able to operate at scale. The majority of these social media platforms have acquired those over the past 3-4 years in anticipation of, I assume, the skinny Fed master accounts, the PACE Act, and the executive order that Trump just signed here recently should allow Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, X, all of these platforms to be able to issue stablecoins and do tokenized deposits and provide a banking function and transfer value between counterparties inside those ecosystems. So there's a high likelihood, I think, that XPay will settle in XRP. Liberty Dog said there's got to be enough liquidity in XRP for that to happen. Just a caveat there. 1776, they say, Jake, blessings to you and your family. Thank you, man. God bless you and your family. What would you recommend for the next best thing to working with DAG and DWP under 10K XRP, avoid taxes and protect your wealth before I'm able to do an LLC? Hang out. I literally just did a whole webinar on this the other day. If you have 10,000 to 50,000 XRP, the different things that you should be thinking about and at which points. This person says no tax on XRP, right? All digital assets currently have capital gains tax associated with them. They are taxed as property or a capital asset here in the U.S. Other jurisdictions, depends on where you're at, don't have to deal with the tax implications. And some, Japan just moved digital assets from a financial asset to infrastructure, or maybe they moved them to financial assets, and now they have a 20% capital gains tax across the board there in Japan on digital assets, and that includes XRP. So, Japan just went from 55 to 20. So the rest of the world's trying to catch up here. I think tax and that regime and how that's going to work with digital assets will likely be later this year. I interviewed the head of NABA, which is the North American Blockchain Association. He was on the channel a little while back, and privately we talked about things that would come up after the Clarity Act, and both insurance and tax were kind of further out in 2026 here. If we don't get the Clarity Act passed early in 2026 or midpoint in 2026, those probably get pushed into early 27 when they're going to be finalizing those things around digital assets.